Hello, this is should be a fun video, and in this video I'm gonna talk about the GNU desktop environment. And the reason for this is because I installed um, a Debian, a brand new, what is it, the Debian 13, and this is a vanilla GNU desktop environment. So the way the GNU operates is if somebody like new to Linux and have a relatively good machine, it's a good idea to have a GNU desktop environment. It's very modern. So you can use the super key or the window key, for example, on this machine, and you can open it will show everything open, and also it will show a dock here, and in the dock you can of course click here on show apps. You can see all the apps, that is one way to do it. The other way is to click here on this button, or this, it looks like a slide but it's a button. It will show the same thing, similar to the super key. So that's one way to do it, and this is actually very good for people who are keyboard centric and they don't like to touch a mouse, so they have those short cuts to open things and stuff like that, and they say it is faster for them. But for the average person like myself, I'm gonna say I installed two things. I installed extension and an extension manager. So those are the two things I installed. Let's open them up. Okay, and I want to talk about first. I want to talk about I'm on the extension. This is the green one, the green icon, and I wanna the first app I installed. The extensions is basically you can go, you can search for things. For example, I can say browse menu, for example, and I will have bunch of menu, and sometimes you can click on them and see what kind of menu they are, and this is how I actually did it. Like it wasn't like rocket science. It's all done through the GUI. So that is one way to do it. But for now, let's go here. The first thing I installed is app menu, and I always have the app menu. I have it installed on my Debian 12 before, and I have it installed on my Ubuntu. And I love something about this menu. I know it's a very very simple menu. It doesn't have a search bar or anything, but it populates. So if you really kind of know you want to play a game, let's say, which I need to delete all these games, but like you have game, internet, places, office, programs, for example, videos, tools, utilities. So it will populate, and it's just a quick search. I found it easier than going to the all apps and searching for them. I know there's a search bar here too, but like I found it a little bit easier to do that. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the second thing. For years, for like a year and a half, I had the app menu on my setting, and I had the dock from dash, and you can tell it is basically it allow the dock to just pop up every time you move the mouse south of the screen. So populate, and it's large enough for for somebody like me who have old eyes. Okay, this is a cool menu, and this is basically make your GNU very very traditional, and this actually remind me of the FreeSpire. I bet that's what they did in FreeSpire. They had it's called dash to panel, and you can also configure that one too. Oh, I want to say this before we go. The dash dock from dash is simple extension, nothing to configure here. But those three I think you can configure them. So like this one I can configure it, and I can what is that display? So you can like assume tasks, show application button. Oh, see, took it off, put it back on, took it off. That's this button here. I think that's what they did in FreeSpire. Probably because the FreeSpire look exactly like this. They have an app menu, and they have uh, a line, and that's it. That's what they had, which make that distro very simple, But nevertheless, let's put it back. Oops. Okay. Activity button. I don't know what that is. Oh. Okay. Cool. So that's what it is. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, so maybe like this. Keep it like this, just in case if I want to go back to it. So this is basically make your distro exactly similar to set up like Windows. So with the panel, especially if you can install a different kind of panel, it will look like this. And you have FreeSpire, or you have a Zorin or something like similar to that. Okay, so now this is the before I the last my last run on Debian 12. I had this extension dash to dock. This extension allow you to configure it. For example, I wanna make it like Ubuntu. I want behavior, for example. I want it to appearance. I want it to show different color. But I'm just gonna go here. I kind of like it. White is not very cool color, but nevertheless, and I want it to show, so like it allow you to configure it as much as you want, which is cool. So make it in the middle. Let's go put it like that. So this is how I setting up this for now. If I get bored, I can always change it. I actually have a Cinnamon environment on the same computer, so I most likely for this screen size, this very large screen size, I most likely will use a Cinnamon desktop, but it's always cool to show these things. These are very, very easy. So GNOME desktop environment is very easy to configure. It doesn't require a lot of knowledge. You're not going to into a bash file and editing, or a config file editing the the color and all this. Like for example, NTX have, you're not doing that. You are just installing extension. Maybe if the extension have allow you to configure it, you can, and uninstalling or unactivating the extension. I want to show one thing that is a lot of people who install uh, GNU don't see often. Where is it? Where is it? It's like tweaks, maybe. It's called tweaks. Yeah. Let's go to tweaks. So it tweaks, for example, in Windows, you when you have a GNU like this, for example, here's Firefox. It doesn't have any 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 button. You can just click on it, it'll drop, double click on it, go up. So it still work, but it doesn't have those maximize, minimize button. So in GNU you have to go and activate them, and if you activate them they will appear, and that is something that people like freak out about when they install GNU. So just a heads up, if you are new to Linux, or if you ever new to GNU desktop environment. That's it for this very short video, and I hope you guys have had fun watching it. Bye bye.